Wait a second.
Oh,
Yes.
hi guys. Hello. Hey everybody. So we are live for season 2, episode 3 of MOMnation Unscripted. So super excited about this episode because I know that it's something that would have meant a lot to me to be able to have somebody to listen to talking about this conversation a few years ago. So that being said, Katie, let's start with, how was your week?
So my weekend went by really fast. So here's what's happening in Katie world.
Okay.
I'm preparing to go on vacation and I leave on Friday. And
Me too.
Hey, twinsies.
Yes.
Wait a second, I already did that. And like what you might be dealing with, also because you're going out of town, it's just like crazy busy, work's crazy busy. There's a lot of stuff going on at school. Like, why do they choose the week before vacation to do all their book fairs and all their things? And so I'm at school like twice this week, which I love. Like, don't get me wrong, I love going into the school. I love seeing my kid. He gets so excited. All his little friends get so excited to see me, right? Because they know me by now. So it really warms my heart. I don't mind doing that. It's just kind of the added stress of, okay, we got to get the animals prepared to go to where they're going. We got to pack. What's the weather going to be like? Oh my gosh, the coronavirus. Like, it's just all this stuff. Yes. Me up late at night, Beth. I'm up late.
Feeling stressed about the coronavirus?
Well, it's not really that I'm feeling like, I'm going to catch it or my family is or anything like that. It's just, I'm going on a cruise. And so there are some added sort of obstacles that Absolutely. The cruise line keeps emailing us and freaking me out. Anyway, I'm a planner. I can't have this. Like I have to know exactly what's happening and when, and It's kind of up in the air. So.
Right. Oh man. I'm actually just driving up to my in-laws. So a much lower key than having to prepare for a cruise for sure. But guess what?
What?
Today, well, you probably already know this because, you stalk me and all of that. But
not as good as Jenny does.
I got featured in Forbes today.
What?
Yes.
I didn't know this. I haven't been on Facebook all day though, pretty much.
It's fine. It's fine.
Apologies.
So, and this has been just like a really big dream of mine for quite some time. Like Forbes is the place that I've always been like, oh yeah, people will take me seriously if I'm featured in Forbes. And so, so there was an article about my concepts around the 4 types of relationships that a lot of business owners don't think about when it comes to their businesses. So anyway.
Dude.
Yes.
Congratulations. That's like amazing. So do you have a copy of the magazine and have you framed it and all that jazz?
It's not, they're online.
Oh, okay.
So it's an online feature. So, but I have not printed it and framed it or anything like that at this point. So
I need to call up those magazine companies that like make magazines with, your face and stuff on the front and get you one.
Yes.
That's what I'm going to do. You need
How about I work on getting into like 10 magazines or something, or 10 features, and then when I hit 10, then you can do that for me.
Deal. You're making your own challenges. You like challenges so much that you bring them upon yourself.
I do. I love having like something very concrete to chase after. And anyway, so I have the Phoenix Voyage one, now Forbes, so 8 more, and then I'm gonna come hit you up.
Do it. You've got this. And you've got a magazine with your face plastered all over the front of it as your trophy.
I love it. So anyway,
congratulations, girl. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yes, I'm super excited. So speaking of that, we're going to be talking about dreams today.
Do you want to hear something really funny? I keep interrupting you, and I do that a lot. That's not what's really funny.
We're unscripted. We're good. Go for it.
So yesterday when I was like, hey, what's the topic tomorrow? And you go, dreams. I was thinking to myself, well, I have dreams, but I don't really know how to interpret them. And I wonder if other people have the same dreams I do. And I was thinking like dreams as in when you sleep at night kind of dreams, but totally not what we're talking about today.
We can talk about that. I don't know if you know this,
Tell me.
I am super, super into dream interpretation.
Really?
That like I teach my clients that they need to be working on interpreting their dreams because your dreams communicate so much about your emotional and mental state, and that can 100% impact your business. And
So maybe we should do a show on this.
well, we could totally do a show on this. And so like with dream interpretation, if you understand, okay, this dream that I'm in a glass house on an island and there's a tsunami means that I am feeling extremely emotionally vulnerable and isolated. Like that tells you so much. And then it tells you honestly what to do about it because, oh, I'm feeling emotional. Okay, I need to process my emotions. I'm feeling isolated. Clearly, I need to like be reaching out to people and connecting because I am feeling like I'm on a tiny little island all by myself. So anyway, I'm a huge, huge fan of dream interpretation. However, we're talking more like, you're not a musical nerd?
Me? No, not really.
Okay.
I mean, I could probably hold my own in trivia, especially like 80s rock trivia. Got you there. But not super geeky, no.
Okay, so Fantine in Les Mis, she sings "I Dreamed a Dream," and it's just a song about how we have dreams, and or she had a dream, but like life took her dream away and ruined it, and she basically literally dies after that, and it's super sad because it's that whole deathbed regret of not having dreamed or lived out the dreams that you did dream. And that's honestly one of the biggest drivers and motivators for me is not looking back on my life with huge regret.
Mm-hmm.
I know that there's going to be things, you always wonder, what if I had gone down this path? What if I had gone down this other path? But anyway, I just really, really love that song. So guys, don't do it yet, but after this episode, go on YouTube and look up Les Mis, I Dreamed a Dream, and get your tissues because it's rough.
But what you can do right now is if you want to hear a show on dream interpretation, comment on whatever you are listening to this on. Comment below, get in touch with us, PM us, whatever it is, and let us know because we can do that.
And while we're covering things that we want you guys to do, if you can go on iTunes and download these episodes and also rate, review, and subscribe. If you leave us a fantastic rating, it helps us to reach more people. If you don't want to leave us a fantastic rating, don't leave us a rating at all. So 5 stars only. So that's our dream. That's our dream for you guys. So
help us achieve.
What were your dreams when you were like a teenager? What did you think you would be doing at this point in your life?
Oh my goodness. Let me think way back because I'm an old girl, Beth. That takes a minute. Let me
So
clear out the
long
cobwebs, the dust in there. Okay. So since I was probably pretty young, maybe like even my son's age, he's 6 now, I wanted to be an attorney.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Go on.
I went actually to, I didn't continue, but I actually started going to college for that and, pre-law kind of stuff and getting all those prerequisites out of the way. I didn't make it to law school, didn't go there. What ended up happening is I got into the banking world. And I was putting myself through college, and that was my dream, to become an attorney. And I ended up moving up the ranks pretty high in the banking world. And at 19 years old, I was actually controlling all of the merchant accounts. So like MasterCard, Visa accounts for 9 banks in my state in little northern New Hampshire. So I was 19.
Crazy.
Yeah, I was flying all over the state, setting people up with their little MasterCard, Visa terminals and all of that. So that is kind of the transition into lending. I actually was a lender. I was in mortgage prior to becoming a real estate broker. So that's kind of the transition.
Learning so many things about you today. Holy
Yeah.
cow.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's like an onion. There's so much more to know.
So many layers. So you were a mortgage lender.
I went into that after I was setting up everybody on those MasterCard Visa machines.
Yeah.
I kind of got sick of that, got burnt out about a year or so. It's a lot of work and I was 19,
Yeah.
it's pretty serious work, pretty late nights. You got to travel quite a bit. And so a position ended up opening in my bank to be a junior underwriter for mortgages. So I actually started as an underwriter, which is how I know the mortgage industry so well, which is really beneficial to my clients now, right? So that was a good move. I ended up going from underwriting, and that's when I moved to Arizona. So this was in New Hampshire, and then I moved to Arizona, and there were no underwriting positions available. The market was really hot during that time. This is in 2004.
Okay.
So the 2004, 2005 market was pretty crazy.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I just ended up grabbing a job as an assistant to a mortgage originator. And that didn't really work out. I have a hard time having bosses.
You?
Mhm.
What?
Yeah, it's tough for me. It's real tough.
Interesting.
I have no idea why. But it's super tough. So the boss thing didn't work out. I ended up going into originating myself. I originated for a few years, realized that I like the people and the variety of real estate, and that is not what mortgage really offered me at the time.
Yeah.
So then I got my license. I had my license literally in this is back in the day where you could totally crash course it. So I was licensed within 3 weeks of leaving that job.
Wow. You
Mhm.
would. Like, honestly, if somebody was going to just go that fast, it would be you. So
Thanks.
I'm really not surprised to hear that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So how about you?
First off, no, we're not on to me yet because
Okay.
you left out a rock star dream. Like that was in there somewhere.
Yeah, so that's always been underlying, right? So I come from a very musical family. My mom was in a band since I can even remember life. She's been singing and performing, and that was actually kind of cool growing up because I wasn't really a cool kid. I wasn't part of the popular crowd, the pretty girls, all of that kind of stuff. But my mom was the only rock star out of our entire school. So that made me cool. Thanks, Mom. I was cool because of you. Appreciate that.
Yes.
But yeah, so absolutely 100% would have been all about, and still would really, being just a rock star, just rocking it, doing nothing else. I attempted it. I toured a bit.
Really?
Yeah. Then
where did you tour?
So I played for a band called the Green Lady Killers for a little while, and we did some touring, just basic stuff like Tucson, and just areas like that, not across the world or anything.
Right.
And then after that, I was a bass player there. Actually, I barely sang, and so after that band, I got into another one that did a lot more stuff. So.
Wow.
Yeah. And then it's just the rock star life is not really conducive to having a job where you have to get up early in the morning and, that kind of thing. Cause it's really late nights. Even if you get done a gig at, midnight or something, you still have to tear down, bring your equipment home, that kind of thing. So it was sort of interfering with my professional life. Not that I didn't do well. It was just becoming more difficult for me to perform how I wanted to on both ends of the spectrum. So perform how I wanted to, with my day job, basically, which was real estate at the time. And then perform, on stage. I was playing Friday, Saturday nights, most weeks. So
it's a lot to balance.
It is. And then you have practice in between that. So I'm practicing till midnight, and then still, I was a single agent at the time. I didn't have a team. So it was all me carrying quite a load of clientele. So.
Wow. And you didn't have a Jenny there to help you.
God bless her.
Right?
It's a good thing I have her now.
Right?
Yeah, because I was doing it all.
Man, that's intense. So was being a mom always your dream?
No. Funny you should ask me that one. So I swore I was never going to be a mom. The whole birthing aspect of it all just scared me to death. And you know what? That was enough for me. I had grown up with a bunch of cousins. So I have siblings, but they're considerably younger than I am. So, when I was of babysitting age or whatever, I could kind of got to babysit cousins, many of them that were in those stages of, toddlerism. And it kind of cured me, to be honest. I was like, I don't want to deal with this. Because, it's a lot. When it's not your kid, it's kind of a different story. And so, I don't know. Do you know I was married before, Matt?
Yes.
Okay. So I ended up meeting my ex-husband in New Hampshire, and he's actually the one that I moved here to Arizona with. And we were married for almost 10 years. Yeah, I'm old. So we were married for almost 10 years, and children were not a thing. We were not having kids. We ended up growing apart. He was actually a musician as well. So he was in, a couple of those bands with me too. And we just ended up growing apart. That's like another story for another show. But wasn't having kids. So by now I'm like 31, 32, divorced. I dated a little bit before Matt came along. Matt came along when I was 34. And something flipped, and I just like wanted a baby right away. So
wow.
Yeah. So we got pregnant pretty quick. Actually, we were probably dating for about 7 months. We got pregnant and we got married later that year.
Wow. Okay. So how has being a mom impacted? I mean, you have always had big dreams. How's being a mom impacted your dreams?
Well, it works with the current one. I mean, it works real well with it. It just seemed like what I never envisioned being a real estate agent, for one. But it just seemed like everything kind of transitioned and flowed the right way without me. And like, you know how I am, I have to control everything. Without me controlling it. I know, funny that. Without me controlling it, it just kind of transitioned real well into my vision now, my goals now. I mean, as we grow older and things change and the world changes and, our opportunities change, whatnot, that kind of, I feel like it's a natural progression that would change. And so what my dreams were back when I was, 25 and not a mom and not ever envisioning being a mom, they've changed. I mean, it's just out of maturity. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what it is.
Right. Oh, maybe we need to do an episode on like real estate as a career for moms. Because I know that like a lot of, like you said, that wasn't your dream, but it is a career that works for being a mom if you make it.
If you make it. That's so super important, Beth, because, I find myself to be probably way busier even in terms of workload and the amount of hours that I work. I'm sure, people that have a 9-to-5 job, I'm not, saying anything bad about them. I'm sure they're very busy as well with home life. We all have that. But I think I told you the other day, I average, what was it? Was it
91 hours a week? Yeah.
Yeah. So, it does though, I do work a lot, but it does allow me to have some flexibility over my schedule. So when, the teacher emails me and says, hey, can you come in and read to the class? I can coordinate that. It's an appointment, right? So I can coordinate that, and I don't have somebody saying, oh, no, you can't go on lunch early, or no, you can't go do that. You can't leave early, whatever it is. So I don't have anybody controlling that per se. But it is a delicate balance because you've got to serve people. I mean, I'm in the service industry.
Well, and the other thing is there's, you have a certain level that you are going for in the success that you're going for that might be different than a mom who wants to make extra money to make it more comfortable at her, in her home.
That's a fantastic point.
Right. And so not everybody has to work 91 hours a week to be successful. I mean, let me just say, as a business owner, you work more than you think you will. Every business owner who actually gets to the point that they're really profitable and that sort of thing, which I know that being in real estate isn't quite the same as being a business owner, but there are a lot of similarities.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
you truly are a business owner. I mean, I'm an independent contractor to my brokerage, and
right,
I only eat when I
work.
make money. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
not
know,
even work. Not even work. Yeah. You only
right.
eat when you make money.
Yeah.
Such a good
Um,
point.
but it is, I mean, you're really on the right track in terms of it being a good business for, moms, because there is so much flexibility. There is so much you can do with it. People think about real estate and they think, oh, I got to show houses all day long. That's just a piece of it, to be honest with you. There are some just referral agents out there. So you have your real estate license in Arizona, and maybe you build a cool funnel because you work with Beth and you figure out how to pull leads in from all over the country. And now you're building alliances with other agents all over the country. You're not even stepping into your car to go show one house. You're just referring to other people in the country because you're good at lead gen because you do it for an hour a day or something like that.
Right.
You can do very, very well making some extra cash like that. You don't even have to leave,
Yeah.
which is great.
There's so many ways to be able to make money with a real estate license as a mom, for sure. So, yeah, so I will answer your question now about.
Oh, yay, it's Beth's turn.
It's my turn. Okay, so honestly, I have always dreamed of being on stage in different capacities. I grew up very religious, and I dreamed of being in leadership in that, faith, and that was something that I wanted to work towards. And then I've transitioned away from that. But I when I was a teenager, I really wanted to be on Broadway. Problem is, I can't dance, and I could sing okay back then, pretty good back then actually. And the problem is, on Broadway, they really want you to dance too. So yeah, there's that. But I also just didn't believe that it was really actually possible for me. And I think that that's one of the things that I've seen as I've worked with just so many moms. I've just worked with hundreds of moms on starting to build their own dreams, and belief that it's possible for them is one of the biggest obstacles I've seen, for sure. But anyway, I guess the thing is that it's my dream has never really fully changed. It's just taken different forms. So, I mean, still to this day, I do dream of being like a full-time motivational speaker. Not there yet, but hopefully I get there. I'm going to keep working towards it, whether I get there or not. So, anyway, yeah.
Did you take any detours like I did? Well, I guess I took a major detour because I didn't end up becoming an attorney. But did you take some detours? Because you're still on track, lucky you.
Yeah, so many detours. So I knew that I wanted to run a business, and so I had started a few, along the way here and there. And so I was a childbirth educator and doula, and that childbirth education side, like that's still a lot like speaking in front of a group. It really is. And so, I thought about starting a staffing agency at one point because I'd worked at a staffing agency. I loved it. But I actually enjoy being the face of a brand so much that that wasn't really fulfilling, because I just disappear into the background. And well, that's like some people's dream. It's not mine. Mm-hmm. And so anyway, I would say, have I taken detours? Yeah, for sure. And I opened a co-working space with the goal of that allowing me to speak in front of people more. And it did to an extent, but it also didn't. It also ended up having so much busy work that I wasn't able to do the pieces that I actually loved, and kind of lost myself in it. And that's okay, because you can always course correct. Anyway.
Well, that's an important part, isn't it? So yeah. I feel like it's easy to get stuck in the, oh, well, it didn't work out. I'm just going to do this now, I guess. Like, it would have been maybe easier, you tell me if I'm wrong, easier for you to just stay in that and just keep on going.
Yeah.
Then course correct like you did.
Yeah, for sure. And like, one of the hardest parts of that was when I realized like halfway through a lease that like, this isn't really what I want to do. And so then you have to keep paying on this lease, even though the dream is done.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that ends up taking resources and mental and emotional and so many different things that could be put towards something that you really love. But as soon as I honestly just like got back to good old coaching and brand strategy, like all of a sudden it was just like my soul was finally back home with that dream. And so the interesting thing, I guess, is that I had gone down the coaching branding strategy path before, and I wasn't happy in it. And so then I went to pursue something else, and I realized, oh no, that was actually the dream, but I was just doing it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one of the important things, I guess, that I've learned is that you can be doing the right thing, but if you're doing it the wrong way, it's gonna feel really bad.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe did you experience that with being a real estate agent before you were doing it as a team? No, you just loved it all.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
amazing.
sometimes I don't love my job. Okay, let's face it. I mean, I wouldn't be human,
everybody.
right? But for the most part, I lay at night and I have my gratitude moments is what I call them. And I kind of just like think about the day and I think about the people who I appreciate so much and about the situations that I appreciate so much. And I really give a lot of gratitude to, what I was the skill I was able to develop and what I've built. And for 14 years, I've been working on this. And, I get that question a lot. Well, would you do another career? Like, would you be interested in another career? Like, that kind of stuff. And there's always been singing. Yeah. And I love to sing and I'll always be a musician. So that's kind of a separate thing. But no, I mean, I don't see myself doing anything else. In fact, today's my coaching day. Tuesdays are my coaching day. And I was coaching my agents. And I was having a conversation with one of my agents today because it's kind of like a one-on-one coaching thing. And we were sharing with each other about, how far along that she's come and how just much we appreciate the ability to do what we do. And yeah, there's some things here and there that aren't so great and aren't so fun. But for the majority of it, we're just so grateful that we're able to do what we do. And honestly, don't see ourselves doing anything else.
That's awesome. Yeah. So for me, when I was not happy, it's because I had surrounded myself with people that felt entitled to my time. And they expected instantaneous results. And, it'd be like in real estate, if somebody just like takes a tour through a house, they're like, yes, I want it. And they expect to start moving in right away and not allowing for the process to play out. Right. And so I don't know, that's just been one of the most important lessons that I've learned is that if you find yourself losing sight of your dream or feeling burnt out by your dream or anything like that, look at the people around you and start to identify who you need to either have conversations with or eliminate. Those are kind of the two options at that point, or you stick it out and then you lose your passion.
So let's talk about that. So you went into the co-working space thing, you figured out that there's more to it than you really were passionate about doing. So how deep did you have to dig to find the confidence to make the switch and to just do what you did? I mean, that's so tough to do, I feel like.
Honestly, I would have just kept pushing through. And I would probably still be doing it today if my health hadn't come into play. I just reached the point where, I was so stressed out. I was having seizures 3 days a week. I was having huge memory lapses and there was just so much going on physiologically. And it's just, and we've talked about this off of the podcast, Katie, that like, if you don't stop and do what's right, and if you don't do what's in alignment, then your body retaliates.
Yeah.
And your body will make sure if you need to slow down and you don't do it, your body will do it for you.
That's true.
And that's exactly what happened. I just reached this point where I realized, okay, I need to move to a version of my business that if I feel like crap, I can lay in bed for 2 days. And that's what I need to do. And I haven't had to do that nearly as much since switching back to having a business that runs primarily online.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
And so, but anytime that I do need that, I can look around and I can identify, okay, who are the people that I need to either manage this relationship or eliminate it, because stress doesn't happen for no reason.
It's true.
And
that's the biggest killer. I mean, that's worse than pretty much anything that you can do to yourself, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
But so we're talking a lot about dreams in terms of like careers.
Yeah.
What about like other dreams? Like you talk to women all day, every day. What kind of other dreams do moms have that they aspire to that something is keeping them from?
Yeah. So most of the women who come and talk to me, they talk to me because they want to do something career-wise. But I've seen moms who they just want to learn how to do energy work or to develop a certain skill set. They want to learn to sew better. They want to be able to run a marathon. They want to be able to have a super clean diet. And so there's just so many different things that that women want to do. Problem is, most of the time, they can't identify what that is. They just can identify that something's off, that something's wrong, and that they need to fix it. And so honestly, a lot of women do go for business type goals or career type goals when it's not actually what they want. They just see other people doing it. And so their assumption is like, oh, I need something else, instead of knowing exactly what they really want to move towards.
So if somebody finds themselves in that position, like, hey, there's a void here. I don't really know what's missing. How do they go on that sort of self-discovery path? And so that they can figure it out, because really like the first step is just knowing what you want, right? Step one.
Yes.
Know what I want. So,
yes. Well, and actually that's the second step. So
it is?
It is. The
What's
first step is knowing that there's something going on that you're dissatisfied with.
And accepting that.
It's admitting and accepting that you're dissatisfied and putting a name to that dissatisfaction. A lot of times, as moms will say, oh, I'm just feeling anxiety, I'm feeling depressed, I'm feeling overwhelmed, I'm feeling blah, 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 blah. But we're not actually putting a name or an actual label on what we're dissatisfied with. And part of us is afraid that if we admit I'm dissatisfied with my marriage, that means that I have to leave my marriage, and I don't want to leave my marriage. So then we stick our heads in the sand instead of realizing that, okay, if I'm dissatisfied with my marriage, I actually have a lot of options. There are tons of things that I can do.
And it doesn't always mean leaving either.
No, it doesn't. Exactly. And that's another great episode, talking about what it's been like for you to be married to Matt and going through a marriage that ended in divorce. My husband and I are in different faiths, and that was not how it always was. There's so much that you can do there. But admitting it like out loud is even better.
To somebody.
And, yes.
Gasp.
Show that you're not perfect and be vulnerable for a minute.
Right.
And once you're able to do that, then you're finally in a position where you can start to identify what you want instead. And once you're able to put a name to what you want instead, typically, okay, so Katie, tell me something that you're dissatisfied with in your life right now. She's like, actually, I'm just like perfectly happy.
Well, you're going to make me dig a little bit, because I'm a girl that comes from gratitude, really, for everything that I have and everybody that surrounds me. So it's hard for me to make that switch into identifying what I don't like because I'm so used to identifying what I like.
You know, it's really interesting how I was talking about when I was doing branding before, the people that I was surrounded with, I had such a hard time with them versus the clients that I have now. It's so fascinating because I ask my clients now, okay, so what are you dissatisfied with? And they start to say, well, I'm dissatisfied that I'm not here. And so they're actually expressing what they want instead of expressing what they're dissatisfied with. So I actually have to train them to figure out what they're dissatisfied with, so that we can get the right vision. But yeah, when you make those switches for yourself and the type of person that you require surrounds you, this is the problem.
Yeah.
This is the kind of problem that you run into, that they can't think of the negative things.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It is amazing, actually, because I'm like still trying even while you're talking. And I guess if I had to choose something,
yeah,
I would choose the amount of time that I spend working. I guess I'm dissatisfied. I love to work though. So that's a weird thing because when I'm working, I'm happy. When I'm not working, I'm happy too. But I guess that would probably be what I choose.
Okay. So why are you dissatisfied with that?
Well, physically, sometimes I'm just tired.
Mm-hmm.
And probably the rest of it is because society tells you that you can't be happy working all the time because it's work. But I am. It's a secret, but I am.
I get it. I totally get it. Okay, so so there's weird guilt. That's one of the problems. Weird guilt. And then the other problem is like you physically need to take more time for yourself.
Yeah, that's the older I get, the more that is a thing.
Yeah, so this is the interesting thing, guys, because I want you to think about if I was to say, okay, so Katie, you're dissatisfied with working 91 hours a week. What would you be? What's the dream instead? Most people would say, well, to work less. No, that's not the dream. The dream is to take the time to take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
See how that's like, yeah.
Spin.
Yeah. And so understanding that that's what you actually want, how can you make a plan or structure, a plan that would allow you to give yourself more time to take care of you?
Are you asking me?
Yep.
Automation and delegation. So the automation part I got. The delegation part, yeah, I'm hard with that. That's hard.
Okay. And so excellent, because the next thing that we talk about in this whole system is interactions. So what interactions do you need to have and what conversations, what boundaries need to be placed in order for you to successfully delegate?
So Katie needs to take the time to turn everything off and look at all that I do and pick out the things that maybe I'm less than passionate about, or maybe that I don't need to do whatsoever, but I think I need to do myself because of that whole control issue that I have. And Katie doesn't take the time to do that. You want to know why?
Why?
Because she doesn't have it.
Okay, so that actually puts us back to structure. That is something that we need to figure out, the plan. So if you were to make that a priority, how would you do that?
You just do it. I would just do it. I would just say,
okay. Are you going to schedule it in your calendar?
Yes, for sure. Everything has to be in there because of how I am. But I would just do it. It would just be, okay, X amount of hours. This is what's happening. There's a do not disturb sign on my office. Like, don't even think about it. I got my big water bottle. Let's go.
Okay, that's awesome because you just created a checklist for all the things that you need to do to make that happen. And
are you coaching me right now?
No, this definitely isn't my signature framework. So in order for you to do that, to have that set aside time where you have everything turned off, you have that water bottle, you have that door shut, what conversations do you need to have in order to execute on that?
With myself, really freaking deep ones.
Okay,
because
that's
oh,
down
not
the
with
road.
myself.
Don't,
Oh,
not with yourself, just with other
okay.
people.
With other people. I need to I need a list of things for them to do first before I start conversing with them, don't you think?
Exactly. And so that's if we went through that structured plan and we were writing this all out, we would actually get a super detailed plan of like, you're going to need this and this and this and this, right? And we would identify who you need to have the conversation with to do each of those things. But just off the top of my head, like talking to Matt and saying, hey, I'm going to be in this room figuring out X, Y, and Z. Talking to Jackson, letting Jackson, spending time with Jackson so you don't feel weird guilt
Right.
when you do it. What other conversations have to happen in order for you to actually do that?
Well, with the team, I would just have to tell the team, hey, it's kind of like I'm on vacation, really for reals, like on an island with no internet. So pretend that for like 3 hours.
Perfect. Okay. So the next thing is your personal mindset. So it's really funny because everybody, they always go to, well, I need to have conversations with myself because I'm the problem, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Like, what if you weren't the problem? What if you just needed to have conversations and it's holding space for yourself. And so with, you started to say, I need to have these conversations with myself, but if we could condense those into 1 or 2 beliefs that if you really believe these 1 or 2 things, you would actually do this, what would those 1 or 2 things be?
I don't have to do everything myself.
Okay. I love it.
That's a really big one. I can trust other people that I have trained to be skillful. Okay, Team Evo, not saying I don't trust you, okay? But I can trust them, the people that I have put in place because they're in place for a reason, right? To do these things, and I don't need to check up and micromanage and say, hey, did you do that? Did you get this? That's the kind of stuff I need to stop doing, to be honest.
Okay. So what sort of results or successes or wins, what sort of things would you need to see to know that this was actually working?
With what has been already delegated, I already see them. So I feel like I just need to trust a little bit more. Not saying that I don't trust my people. I love them very much. It's just
it's a Katie thing. It's not another people thing.
Just is, man. It's like up in here, it's all like, well, you got to do this. And it's like ping, 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 ping. And it's hard to quiet that.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. So, so if you were delegating some things, what kinds of things would you delegate?
Well, administratively, I'm pretty good on that. So there's a lot of admin stuff that, I've already figured out how to delegate, which is really great. A big part of my business is communication with other parties, other industry professionals, communication with clients, follow-ups, that kind of stuff, communication with incoming, maybe they're new real estate leads that we haven't communicated with, we haven't built a relationship with, stuff like that.
Okay. So you just gave me some really interesting things. So like the follow-ups, the initial touch point with leads, the conversations happening, right? So if you had your people tracking, and I'm sure you have this because this is just how you would work, but if you have them tracking that these things are actually happening and you can see that they're actually happening, would you be happier and believe that it's working?
Yeah. I like results and reports and things.
Okay. And then what resources do you have? And resources can be time, money, energy, relationships that can help you to execute on this plan to make more time for you.
Most certainly relationships, because there are a few key people well, my team. I mean, those are my few key people that really help this thing move forward. So most certainly relationships. I don't feel just, looking at our business administratively, I don't feel like we need any more administrative help. I mean, we're pretty good. We've got a full-time transaction coordinator and a full-time admin assistant. So we're fine there. So I think it's really the relationships of the skilled people, that'd be it.
Awesome. Okay, so if you had that plan super detailed and in place, then you discussed with all of your people what you need from them in order to execute on that plan. And then you believed those two things that we talked about that you need to believe, which we'd have to go back and listen. My memory. And then you were seeing that yes, these conversations are happening. These data, there's the data to back up that what you've asked for is happening. And then you were continuing to leverage those relationships. Do you believe that you would be able to create time for yourself?
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. A lot of, and I'm not saying, 30 hours by any means, but a lot of what I do is just double checking to make sure everything's good.
Okay, awesome. So guys, just to run through this, what we did is we identified what she's dissatisfied with. We identified what she wanted instead. We came up with the structure, the plan for how to do that, the conversations that need to happen in order for that structure to work. What mindset does Katie need to have to get out of her own way? What data can be produced, so production, what data can be produced to help us know that it's actually working, and then what can be leveraged in order to make it work. And so, and then she'll get to the new thing that she wants to experience. So that's SIMPLE, simple. And so that's the simple success cycle. So that's how you can have anything you dream of.
I love it. So, and this can be applied to, we're two business ladies and that's kind of what we do. So that's what we're talking about here. But I feel like that structure
Anything
can be applied to anything. Like if somebody
from changing the size of your jeans to going to the moon.
Yeah.
Anything. Yeah.
I mean, if somebody wants to, I don't know, go back to school to become a nurse or something like that. See, my mind always goes, there's a little business in there, damn it. I'm trying to find something that's not business oriented.
This is just who we are.
That's just who I am.
We want you guys to just be who you are. We're sorry. We're not sorry. We're not sorry for being who we are.
Right. But I'm just trying to come up with a good example of, somebody.
But if you wanted to redecorate your living room. Okay, so you're sitting in your living room and you're like, I feel like crap in here. I don't want to be in a room where I feel like crap all the time. Well, what do I want instead? Well, I want bright colors. I want to walk in this room and feel happy. Okay, so what would that look like? And then you go to your Pinterest and you put together your Pinterest board and you get this really clear plan for how you would want to decorate. Awesome. Okay, what conversations do you need to have? Do you need to have a conversation with your partner before you go do this? Great, have that conversation. What do you need to believe in order to actually do this? I deserve this. I am good enough for this. My family is going to be better off when I do this. Okay, perfect. So what data or what results are you going to need to see to know that this is working? I need to see that people compliment the room when they walk in. I need to see that I feel better when I'm in that room. I need to see 5 different colors, right? Those are actual data points that we can track.
Mm-hmm.
And then what can I leverage to get there? Well, I can leverage my time. I can leverage my sewing skills. I can leverage Canvas from, the store. Like I can leverage finances. I can leverage Pinterest. There's so many different things that you can do. And if you follow that whole cycle, you're going to 100% move from hating the room to being able to have this redecorated room that's designed to make you feel good.
Mm-hmm. Love it. Thank you for taking me through that, because I
Yeah.
wanted to wrap my head around, okay, we're talking about work and business building and that kind of thing. What does it look like for somebody that's aspiring to do something that's not work related? So thank you for that.
Absolutely. Yeah, of course. Of course. So yeah, like literally it works for absolutely anything. So if anybody needs like a downloadable of that framework and a video that shows how it works, just you can send me a message on Facebook and I can send it to you.
Awesome. You're so nice.
Well, I might make them give me their email first or something.
Something like that.
Something like that. So yeah, that's the thing is that, like when I think about the fact that I do want to be a motivational speaker one day, like I think of Lisa Nichols, I think of Tony Robbins, I think of, Gary Vaynerchuk, these people who they speak and they influence people in such big ways. It's understanding that like there are things that I can be doing right now to move towards that, even though I have little kids at home. It might take me a long time to get there, but micro steps along the way will help me get there eventually.
Yeah, it makes it so much easier and less overwhelming too when you do it like that.
Exactly. And then you can, you can take that whole thing and you can break it down into actual steps on a to-do list.
Mm-hmm.
And once you might not feel like you can take the time for self-care right now, Katie, but you sure can talk to Matt about, I'm going to be in the office for 3 hours. You can text your team. It's these teeny tiny little bites that do add up to what you want eventually.
I love it, lady. Well, thank you. Thanks for the free coach sesh.
I'm sorry.
You're so tricky.
I was like, crap. I'm in the middle of this. I can't stop now. I just get so excited anytime I can use that. So
Nah, it was perfect. I appreciate it.
Awesome. So what do you think we should talk about next time?
Well, we got some comments. Let's look at our comments here.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Amanda Woodbury.
Hey, girl.
It's all Amanda so far. She's awesome and one of our biggest fans.
Yes.
She said dream interpretation. She's had some weird ones, so it sounds like she likes that. There was another topic that came about while we were
talked about dream interpretation, real estate, and marriage.
Yeah, let's talk about marriage. Let's talk about you haven't gone through a divorce, but I have. So we can talk about that. Like, when did I, first realize it? Kind of what sort of things happened. I suppose you can get me to open up about that, since you get me to open up about everything else.
I probably can.
Probably. We'll make it a challenge and then Beth's all about it.
Can I just bring... You're not wrong. I just love to win. That's all.
We'll gamify the pulling out of information from Katie. It's cool.
Oh my gosh. You're like totally, my brain is already going on that. I'm like, oh, how can I make it a game? Oh my gosh. Okay.
Okay.
I've already got it.
Are you going to tell or no? Is this a surprise?
It's a surprise.
All right.
Okay.
Fine.
I have to work out some details, but I think we need to incorporate a little bit of game into our episodes each week.
I love the idea.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right then.
Oh, I'm excited now. Okay, go ahead. What were we talking about?
Well, we're talking about next episode. Yeah. So I'm not going to be here for the next episode because I'm going to be on vacation.
Okay.
And
yes. So it's going to be me and Jenny and Sherry.
You and Jenny and Sherry. So that should be fun. So I don't know what y'all are going to talk about, but I'm excited to watch the replay already.
Yes. It will be good. I'll text them. We'll figure it out. It's going to be good. So if there's anything that you guys want to learn from Jenny and Sherry, now is the time to let us know what that is. So anyway, we might just randomly draw something out of a hat at the last second. I don't know. Guess we'll see.
We should do that because, well, you know how we do it. We just text each other, hey, what do you want to talk about tomorrow? I don't know. What do you want to talk about? And then we pick a subject and then we just meet online. Like, we don't even talk at all. We just go, okay, you ready to go? And we hop online and that's what you ladies see. So it's kind of
what we could just start putting tons of topics like in a hat or something and literally draw it at the beginning of the episode. So it's truly unscripted.
I think we should.
I think that'd be really good.
Let's do it.
Okay.
All right.
Done.
Next.
Done.
All right, Jenny and Sherry, you get to pull out of a hat. Lucky you.
Yay! Awesome. Well, guys, go to iTunes, rate, review, subscribe for us, please, and leave us those 5-star ratings so that we can reach more moms, so that we can make the impact and get MOMunes built in every major city in the US. If you know how to get in touch with Ellen, that's kind of a goal of mine, is to get MOMnation on Ellen. And as you know, and have learned today, I am very committed to figuring out a path to make things like that happen. So it's happening. I would love for it to be sooner than later. We'll see.
Agree. While we're at it, I would love to meet Oprah too. So can we do Oprah?
Oh, okay.
She's legit.
Let's work on that too.
Yeah, well, so I'm old school, right? So Oprah was like the shit when I was younger.
I watched Oprah. Okay, when I was like a newlywed, I just watched Oprah every afternoon when I got home from work. Every day.
She's awesome.
Huge fan.
Yeah. So
anyway.
All right, sister. It's been real.
It has. Thank you.
And thank you, as I'm getting a call from my team, no less. All right.
Of course you are. All right. Bye.
Bye.
See you next week.
See ya.